Attention fans, looking to lock in your season tickets, plan an unforgettable group outing, or get in on an on-field experience? Visit our ticket table on the main concourse next to guest services. Our team is ready to help you make the most out of your match day. Somos Unidos.
Graduations, weddings, birthdays, tailgate parties, and all of your other special event needs. Albuquerque Tents has what you need. From tables and chairs to tents and linens, Albuquerque Tents has you covered. As a proud partner of New Mexico United, Albuquerque Tents strives to make your special day unforgettable. Call Albuquerque Tents today at 5.
All right, Gary, we're ready to roll.
6190.
Join us at Winrock Park all season long. Wednesdays from 5 p.m. through 7 p.m. enjoy free fitness classes and a farmer's market. Select Thursdays feature Shakespeare in the Park. On Fridays, enjoy free concerts starting at 6 p.m. Saturdays, starting at 8 p.m., shop local at the Winrock Artisan Market. Come be a part of the fun at Winrock.
Attention fans, enrollment's now open for the Advanced Massage program. Apply for the opportunity to work with New Mexico United players and for our part-time holistic massage training program at Albuquerque School of Healing Arts. Hasha, proud partner of New Mexico United.
For more than 100 years, Big Brothers Big Sisters has operated under the belief that inherent in every child is the ability to succeed and thrive. As the nation's largest donor and volunteer mentoring network, Big Brothers Big Sisters makes meaningful matches between adult volunteers and children in need of mentoring across New Mexico. Interested in becoming a big brother or big sister? Scan the QR code on the video board now to learn more.
At Pinion Coffee House, we melt delicious coffee with iconic Southwest-inspired flavors to create one-of-a-kind specialty drinks. Scan the QR code on the video board to escape the grind and visit one of our four locations today.
on your feet, get those flags in the air, and get loud for your New Mexico United. Here's tonight's starting lineup for your New Mexico United. Number 1, in goal, Alex.
Número 12, defensor y capitán, Talon.
Number 16, defender, Will.
Número 19, defensor, Zico.
Number 24, defender, Jalen.
Número 6, mediocampista, Gideon.
Everyone, and welcome to Albuquerque, New Mexico, the site of the International Hot Air Balloon Fiesta and tonight's showdown between two USL Championship heavyweights. You've got New Mexico United hosting Charleston Battery. Welcome into the lab. My name is Tyler Ortega, joined by Chris Hurst. And Chris, simply put, we've got number 1 in the West taking on number 2 in the East. We've got a good one coming up.
Yeah, it should be an exciting match. It's going to be really interesting to see how the home team deals with the attack and firepower of Charleston Battery tonight.
Let's go ahead and dive into this matchup.
At Blake's, we're proud to call our food fresh. We think every burger should be cooked to order and fresh off the grill. This patty's big, blockbuster big, and 100% Angus beef. Now, the finishing touch. This is a superior meat to bun ratio for the best burgers your mouth's ever tasted. Blake's Fresh Take is worth the wait.
This is Robert reading for Victor, and action.
Mary, I love you more than anything, but this student debt, it's like a weight I can't shake. I'm drowning.
Now you're angry. Go.
But this student debt, It's like a weight I can't shake. I'm drowning.
You're full of sorrow.
I'm drowning.
And cut. Great. We'll be in touch.
Good thing I went to C&M.
How about
Welcome back here to the lab. The 2025 New Mexico United season is presented by Sandia Resort and Casino, close to home, far from ordinary. It is Soccer Salute Service Night here at the lab as we honor those who serve. And let's go ahead and take a look at our starting lineups here this evening, brought to you by the guys at Ferguson and Associates, Chris. And we're going to start off with New Mexico. You're going to see Alex Tambakis, of course, Marlon Vargas in the 10 spot, Thomas Among leading the line. But most notably, Chris, it's maybe a name on the bench with Hurst being back.
Yeah, Hurst being back. I'm not the only one that's back tonight and making an appearance. I think it'd be great for New Mexico United faithful to see their number 9 back in the dugout. I think it's a focal point that maybe New Mexico United have been lacking over the last few games.
This is what the visitors will line up like. This is Ben Pierman's lineup. Just one change from last Sunday. Jeremy Kelly getting the start out on the left, but this is a high-powered offense, Chris. Most goals scored in the championship this season.
Yeah, it just goes to prove as well where you can see the very dangerous Jennings sitting on the bench as well, waiting to come on if needed as well. And imagine having that kind of firepower just waiting on the bench as well.
This one should be a good one. Our officials tonight, center referee is Abdu Ndaye. Our assistants are Matthew Schwartz and Sunyinka Kahinde. And our fourth official is Drew Clem. New Mexico donning their Soccer Salute Service kits. It's a specialty kit that they released just last week. They wore them for the first time last Friday, which was the 4th of July, which unfortunately for them was a 1-0 loss out in Pittsburgh at Highmark. And it's a game that I guess you could say they just didn't look their best in, Chris.
Yeah, it's a somewhat typical performance. They had quite a bit of the ball, but really struggled to create those clear-cut chances.
New Mexico will be looking to reverse the fortune here today. New Mexico, they failed to take victory in their last 2 meetings against the Battery. This is the 5th consecutive season that these two clubs have met. New Mexico started out by winning the first 2. Charleston have won the last 2. In New Mexico, in fact, Chris, they've been held scoreless in those last 2 meetings. You've got to go back to 2022 for the last time New Mexico scored a goal against this Battery side. This is Juan David Torres in the center circle, getting ready to kick us off, get us started here tonight. Battery in all white. We are off from the lab. Malloy immediately sending a ball deep. It's headed away by Seymour. Falls to Kaza, now Hosu with his first touch. So these are two teams, Chris, that really like to dominate possession.
Yeah, it's the number 1 in possession, average possession, which is New Mexico United against number 2, Charleston Battery. So it's going to be real interesting to see which team kind of gives up that. And you know, we were talking a little pre-game as well. Charleston Battery not unheard of, letting the other team have the ball. They did that to Phoenix Rising to great effect and absolutely pounded them 4-1 when they only had 36% of possession.
Abenonu. This ball was momentarily controlled by Myers. Play on, says the official. Here's Torres. Torres was looking for Ikaza on the through ball. Instead, finds its way back to Alex Tambakis. We had some weather moving through earlier, which caused this match to be an hour delayed in terms of kickoff. So thanks for hanging around, especially if you're joining us from out there in Charleston. It is a late one. USL Championship after dark on the East Coast. But we're sure this one will be worth the wait between these two. Fernando with the poke. New Mexico now look to have something cooking. Here's the Brazilian. Fernando threads it across. And Akale just loses possession. New Mexico Find themselves with the ball once again. Here's Zico Bailey. Bailey has a shot, and Bailey did not miss by much.
Well, I tell you what, we were just asking the question of, the battle of the possession teams, which team's going to kind of give it up, and maybe a little insight into how New Mexico United are going to set up, allow Charleston Battery to have the ball, and Fernando does really well to read the play, pick off, and starts a counter-attack immediately. Fortunately, ball rolled inside, and Mang, it's just played behind him. He just can't sort his feet out to be able to bring the ball under his spell. And but the follow-up shot from Zico Bailey as well, really dangerous.
It's a windy evening here at the lab. Looks like we've actually got some smoke moving in here to the metro area as well over the last hour or so, and it's moved in quite strong, Chris. You can smell it in the air here.
Yeah, it's really not. It went from a really hot evening when we first arrived at the stadium, when the players first arrived here. It was really, really warm in the Duke City, to really nice when that storm rolled through, cooled it down perfectly. But now I think that storm's brought in some of the wildfire smoke from up north, and it's really just not a very pleasant evening. We were seeing a little scratchy throat and everything. Yeah, it's really, it'll be interesting to see if it affects the play at all later on. Maybe the players maybe feel it a little bit as well, because you went down pitch side and you could really feel it on the back of your throat.
This ball headed away by Apononu. Hosu battling with his former teammate Zico Bailey. Eventually the foul called on the Philippines international. Zico Bailey making his 52nd USL Championship appearance for the club here today. Scipio scoops this ball up and over, and it throw in here for New Mexico. Actually looks like there might have been a late lineup change for Charleston. We'll get to that in just a second. Here's Thomas Among, plays the through ball for Fernando, the Brazilian, able to run it down. Lindsay now, cross goes into the box, and it's the feet of Hosu. Foul called against New Mexico, and it was on Marlon Vargas, who is not pleased, to say the least. So we're saying a late lineup change for Charleston. Looks like no Langston Blackstock actually at the left back position. It's Mark Segbers who has started this match. Take a look at Dennis Sanchez, his first season here with New Mexico, and Chris, dream start.
Yeah, it really has, and kind of continuing on the work that Coach Quill and his staff did last year as well. So New Mexico United really established themselves last year as one of the top teams in the entire Western Conference, and it's just interesting to see the difference, the complete difference between the Eastern and Western Conference. Charleston and Lou City, kind of little breakaway group in the East, sitting, I think it was 9 points at the start of today, beyond third place Loudoun. New Mexico United in first place, only 8 points ahead of Lexington, all the way down in second bottom. Colorado Switchbacks, all the way bottom of the Western Conference, are only 10 points behind New Mexico United right now.
Here's Kelly looking to cut in. It seems, Chris, like Louisville and Charleston have been leading the pack in the East for years now.
Yeah, talking about like New Mexico United establishing themselves just this past year, and they've always been a playoff team, but establishing themselves as one of the number one teams. But yeah, like I say, Charleston Battery and Lou City obviously are still just absolute juggernauts in the Eastern Conference.
Charleston coming off a season last year where they made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Final under Ben Pierman, his third season with the club. The 2022 USL Championship Coach of the Year. Here's Ikaza in the box, has the ball taken off his feet there by Vargas. Down goes Akale. No problem, says the official. Here's Torres now. It's it back to Kelly. Kelly with a heavy touch. Sees Gideon Zalalem run away with that, and now it's ultimately cleared by Alex Tampakis. Come on. Could have been onto something, and the offside flag just up there on the Cameroonian. So we'll have a look at our keys to the game here for New Mexico, brought to you by the Somos Unidos Foundation. Positive outcomes for everyone. Obtain the offensive star power for Charleston, win the midfield, and secure 3 points with home field advantage. New Mexico, so far, Chris, they've captured 13 out of a possible 18 here at home in league play. 4 wins, just 1 loss, 1 draw. Switch of play to Torres. Here's Juan David Torres, and his shot takes a couple of deflections, and it's Usman Jabang hunting that ball down. So it'll give us time for our Ben Sherman Law injury report. Injured at work, Ben Sherman can help. A couple names on the list there for New Mexico, and it's Deion Harris, obviously Kalen Ryden. Broke his collarbone, 3-4 weeks ago now. Deion Harris still working his way back from the torn ACL that he suffered last season, which we understand he's getting closer and closer, which is, I'm sure, music to New Mexico United fans' ears, Chris.
Yeah, for sure. It's always great, you know, the he's been for them where 3 goals in 5 games. Heavy tackle from Hosu there on Akale.
Hosu now receiving a talking to. And Hosu, he's 1 yellow card away from suspension due to yellow card accumulation. He leads the USL Championship in yellow cards.
That's interesting there, yeah, because I mean, that was a... He did get the ball, but it was after taking Akale's leg. That's borderline. I think referee just trying to manage the game, maybe give him a talking to. And benefit of the doubt just because it's so early on in the game. And you see that quite often where they don't want to spoil the game by throwing cards too early and kind of making that example early on. But I think it was a stern talk now, and I think also his reaction when he was talking to the referee there was more begging. He knew he was possibly in trouble there. But that was, I mean, it was definitely a foul and borderline.
Miscommunication there from Maples and Lindsay. This will be a throw-in here for the Battery. The black and yellow derby, as this one has been dubbed by supporters from both sides. The Riverhounds would like a word with that. Funny enough, no black and yellow for New Mexico tonight.
I said neither team wearing black and yellow in the black and yellow derby, but another heavy tackle there. There's been a few early on in this game here.
Here's a look at some of the current conditions just around the lab here. Very hazy, very smoky. It's otherwise normally a very gorgeous view, Chris, is somewhat clouded with the wildfire smoke that's blown in. There's Thomas Among. Finds Lindsay. Bailey goes back to Seymour, and it was just a bit of miscommunication there. Jabang tries to float this back in. What a touch from Makwele Akale. He draws the foul as Dos Santos not happy about that. Dos Santos making his 100th regular season appearance in his career tonight and committing the foul there on Makwele Akale.
Yeah, just and Akale kind of turned away from goal, felt the pressure coming, and you know, wasn't hesitant to throw himself out. It's just interesting. I saw Hosu's reaction straight away, and he almost gesticulated to the referee. And this is pretty cheeky, by the way. Free yellow card for Akale for diving after the tackle he just put in as well. So maybe he's given a little insight or a little inside knowledge to the Battery players about how Akale is very tricky, and you know, he will draw fouls, and that's what he brings to the team in a very dangerous situation here. The Battery to defend.
Here is Makwele Akale. Second ball goes back in. Down goes Maples. No call from the official. Zalalem. It finally settles down here. So the last time these two did battle here at the lab 2 years ago, Chris, it was a 1-0 win for the Battery. It was back in September of 2023. Foul called on Seymour, and that's the second time he's gotten involved. He receives a stern talking to as well, and you can see the referee telling him no more.
Yeah, but you can see at least, you know, the consistency there from the referee. He's allowing it to play. He's allowing it to be a physical game. He's just saying, look, these are the boundaries. These are the boundaries you shall not cross. There was a little off-the-ball incident earlier on with Seymour. I couldn't see which Charleston player it was, where he basically threw him to the ground off the ball. And again, the referee just managed it and just had a word. So, you know, again, love to see it. You don't want a game, two high-quality teams be spoiled early on by, you know, heaven forbid, a red card or anything like that. So keeping his cards in the pocket right now and just trying to manage it with some man management right now.
Bailey able to get a foot in there. He now turns. Immediately met by Hosu. Maples. And the captain's armband, Talon Maples. Ball hit long, and the offside flag is up on Jalen Lindsay. Kickoff tonight was brought to you by Bank of America. And while we've got a second, we'd also like to bring you this 529 game update, which is brought to you by the Education Plan. That is New Mexico's state-sponsored 529 plan. Give your kids a better and brighter future. Learn more at theeducationplan.com. This ball hit long, and Myers battling with Jabang. There's Kelly. Here's the Irishman. Malloy, he's dragged down by Thomas Among. The foul is called. Fans, the USL on CBS kicks off July with a hot showdown in the Championship Eastern Conference. It's last season's final runner-up, Rhode Island FC, taking on Northeast rival Hartford Athletic. That's Saturday, July 19th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Mountain Time, only on CBS. Bouncing around here in the midfield, finally settled by Hosu as he turns, plays it out. Here's Torres. Torres now looking to create, and this cross goes searching. It's Myers. He's looking for that one inside the box.
Myers has been lively early on like this, just running the channel then. There you can just see, I think it was Seymour. It was just a little deeper than everyone else. And Myers had read it and it broke the offside trap there. But you can see a little bit of Myers' game, like just earlier on, he just held up the ball so strong. Ball was fizzed into him so strong with his back to goal and brought other players into the game. And then there he is running channels as well. So you can do a little bit of everything. You can see why he's in that number 9 spot for Charleston tonight.
Here's Malloy. Myers in his second season with the Battery. Scored 14 goals last year in league play. He's already up to 8 in 13 appearances this year. This ball dangerous, and Zamudio has to come out of his box to clear that away in front of Marlon Vargas. Malloy does well to keep that away from the 2 New Mexico midfielders.
That was great goalkeeping by Zamudio there, where he had to read it because Fernando was just, and you can see him again there, just off the shoulder of the far defenders, just trying to sneak in behind it. He was off to the races, and sweeper keeper to the rescue there and managed to step in and deal with the danger. You can see a little bit of the pattern now, though. New Mexico United, it's not that they're dropping deep, they're actually holding a pretty high line, but they are so compact front to back and side to side. It's really hard for Charleston Battery to find any gaps to play in. Charleston have shown that they're not afraid to skip a line and play straight into Maya's feet. But there, you can just see maybe they're getting a little frustrated, starting to force it a little bit, trying to find that through ball, and they haven't got the runners right now. New Mexico United very much just waiting, setting traps, finding little pockets where they want to press, and once they do, they try and go quick, and they fly on the counter-attack.
Foul called as Thomas Among goes to ground. TLC free kick. Seymour, 95 league appearances under his belt for New Mexico tonight, marking his 96th. There goes Maples on a run through the midfield. It was a good idea there from Thomas Amon, just didn't have the power behind the pass there.
Yeah, it was almost like that touch that he took. It could have been done where maybe if he hit it first time it was on, but good little ball movement by New Mexico United again, just winning the ball off Charleston Battery, and then 1 and 2 touch passes, breaking lines, looking to play forward very quickly and trying to spring that counter attack.
Long ball from Maples. Coming back by Apononu, no problem. It's the magic minute here at the Lab. And all 10,000 plus who stuck it out through the weather delay on their feet. Maples now. We'll see the talking to heavy challenge. Take another look on this TLC replay. Just coming together there between he and Ikaza. Ikaza, you see him, he's on his feet, he looks to be okay.
He's very experienced in the dark arts. He's been in the referee's ear every time there's been a foul, asking for yellow cards. He wasn't when Hosu went through the back of the Kali, but every other one he's been in the referee's ear there. And yeah, and you can see it. And I think that's what Maples was saying. Was you could see him gesticulating to him, and like, I know what he's saying, but just that was more of a coming together. You could see Maples very committed. He was trying to win the ball. Maybe there was a very slight chance he was going to win it because didn't even see Maples coming either. So a nasty one, forehead to the back of his head, but looks like no damage done.
Well, Ikaza, he's no stranger to playing here at the Lab, Chris. We saw him for the first time here back in 2021 when he was actually a member of Austin Bold. Then we saw him just a few weeks later as a member of RGV. He had a mid-season transfer. Saw him play with the Toros for a few seasons, and then he's been with Charleston since, which, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this is the 5th consecutive year that these two clubs have done battle. As that ball goes out on Fernando. Excuse me, it looks like the offside flag was up on the Brazilian. Fernando now for the Player of the Month nomination. He's been on fire for New Mexico. He is their leading scorer when it comes to USL Championship play. 4 goals, just ahead of Greg Hurst with 3. And that tells you a lot, Chris, as you mentioned. We haven't seen Greg Hurst play in a couple months.
Yeah, and you know was the top scorer until Fernando's last goal there. But yeah, I mean, look at Carl Jennings sitting on the bench, 11 goals. Myers 8 goals. The 2 top scorers for New Mexico United are Hurst and Fernando, and they've only scored 7 between them. I think that's and New Mexico United maybe a little bit more defensively solid. Goals conceded. Both teams conceded 15. But the 5th best. But New Mexico United with 6 clean sheets so far this year. So that's what they're relying on. But it was very similar last year. And there was little whispers amongst the fans and some of the fan groups where it was like, at some point New Mexico United not being able to put teams to bed and not being able to score freely was maybe what cost them. It was very much a defensively solid team, hard-working team last year, and it looks very similar this year. They need to start finding a way to, when they're on top, putting these chances away. And Nando's done his best to try and drive it up, but he is a goal-scoring midfielder, I would say, rather than a forward.
Speaking of Fernando, linking up with Among, and Thomas Among skies that ball over the goal. As the Cameroonian forward was looking to add to his goal tally. Scored twice in the span of 4 days here just a couple weeks ago, Chris.
Yeah, mate, that was the perfect cutback. Those are the ones you love where, it looks like the centre-back there, was it Smith, I think it was, just lunged at him, maybe put him off a little bit, but when it's just stepping onto the inside of your foot and you just get to try and guide it into the back of the net, those are the ones you love as a forward, where the wide player does most of the hard work for you, but he just gets that one a little bit wrong.
25 minutes gone by here at the lab in Albuquerque. Tyler Ortega alongside Chris Hurst. Thank you for joining us here in New Mexico on New Mexico 50, or whether you're watching on ESPN Plus or internationally on YouTube. 2 USL Championship heavyweights going at it here tonight in the black and yellow derby. Coming into tonight, New Mexico first in the west, Charleston second in the east. The ball hit was looking for Juan David Torres, and that one goes long. Torres, the 24-year-old Colombian, in the Colombian top flight with Millonarios. Spent the last 2 seasons with the Battery. And you talk about playmakers and chance creators, you have to mention Juan David Torres. He is the USL Championship leader in chances created, 41, Chris. Second place, Taylor Davila from Louisville City, 33.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and like the leading chance creator for New Mexico United, Akale, 25. And so, yeah, you can see he just pulls the strings. Early on in the game, Torres was drifting off that right side, and he was coming really narrow. And it was proving a little difficult for the New Mexico United back four to pick up whose responsibility was it, And but recently, the last 5-10 minutes or so, he's been hugging that touchline and really stretching the New Mexico United back four across the full width of the pitch.
Thomas Among was down. It looked like he was just showing the officials some marks on the back of his leg. It's a free kick for New Mexico anyway. Seymour down in front of us. He was playing on the shoulder of the last defender, and with his arm up, he was asking for it. Not getting it, but Bailey now closed down quickly in the midfield, finds Vargas. Now looking for Fernando, who has tons of space. The Brazilian turns on the Jets. It's it back. Here's Vargas. Vargas' ball goes into the box, and it's off the head of Thomas Among and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, you can see what Vargas was trying to do there, just trying to clip it into an area, and it's almost like a man got too good of a connection on it. You almost want to glance that into the far corner, but he gets such good connection, it goes out past the near post. But another decent move. Fernando again playing on the shoulders of those defenders, really tough to mark, and when he gets in behind, he's tough to catch. He's got some pace.
Myers able to lay it off for Torres. Jabang closing him down, as does Lindsay. Falls to Malloy, who has a pop and sends that well out of play. Alex Tambakis making his 134th league appearance for the club since joining back in 2021 at US and 50 mark. And not just that, Chris, he's one clean sheet, one regular season clean sheet away from tying the all-time mark as well of 58. That record held by Evan Newton. I don't think it's any surprise to note that Danny Vitiello is third all-time in USL regular season shutouts, behind Tambakis with 51. Lindsay. Looked like that ball was slightly deflected. It's going to come back to Apononu. Segbers. All the way to Alex Tambakis.
What a pass that was by Jabang. You can tell it's a centre mid playing centre back there. Just splits defenders with the ball, and interesting seeing him in the back there. Maybe sees the ball a little more than what he would in midfield, which sounds a little weird, but a lot of teams play a lot of ball across the back and sees the ball a lot more, but lose a little bit from New Mexico United. Him driving that Hosu role from last year, he really stepped into that this year, and New Mexico United miss a little bit of that now with him playing a little deeper.
A yellow card shown there to Marlon Vargas. Zalalem went down in the box when Hosu got near. No foul was called, and then after that it looked like Vargas might have had a nibble. Let's have another look. Great challenge there from Hosu, and yeah, there's Vargas going in. Looks like on the plant leg for Hosu, and Vargas. They'll go in the officials' book 30 minutes in.
I remember the days when it used to be a yellow card for asking for a yellow card. Sound like a really old man there now.
I didn't want to say it, but
yeah, you did.
Yellow cards, as always, brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. When you've been fouled, call Ferguson Law Firm, New Mexico's leading personal injury attorneys for over 40 years. New Mexico applying some high defensive pressure here. Great turn there from Kelly, but his pass to no one in particular, I think, luckily for him, found Ikaza. So there's a foul called on Charleston. Jabang will get us restarted with this TLC free kick. Fernando lays this off to Zalalem, who's closed down, and Hosu commits the foul. And there it is for Nanan Hosu. You knew it was coming. It was just a matter of when.
It's interesting that, and honestly, it seems like there's a little bit of, we call it needle, and a little bit of bad blood. And also was flying around like that tackle on Akali earlier. Looked like a tackle of someone who wanted to really leave a mark. And that tackle by Vargas as well. Earlier on, it seemed like that was a really, really heavy challenge as well. And there's asking for a yellow card again. I hate that.
Well, Vargas has to be careful. He's already been shown yellow. And very clearly taking exception to whatever was said over there. There's the captain, Talon Maples, trying to defend his teammate. I don't think Juan David Torres is going to walk off this field with any new friends tonight. He was kind of stirring the pot over there between all of them.
Fourth official, I tell you what a thankless task that is. They have to deal with all the complaints, nod their head and say, yes, I hear you, whether they agree or not. Terrible job.
Our fourth official tonight, Drew Klemp, getting an earful there from Dennis Sanchez. So it looks like we're ready to get back to it. Bailey flicks it on for Akale. Back to the Philippines international, sends the ball in, looking back post, and I think that was Vargas that ultimately got ahead on it.
I think it was Kaza also ended up flat on his stomach early on in that play as well, before the ball was even played. I don't know if there was something off the ball. There was so much going on, and again, it's a really, really physical. You'd almost. I know, the black and yellow derby, but these teams live thousands and thousands of miles away. It's not like New Mexico United against Phoenix or something like that, but it feels like that kind of intensity right now.
And you just had a shot of Ben Pierman on the sideline. He had some words as well. Here's Kelly. Immediately closed down by Zico Bailey. This comes back to Aaron Malloy, the captain, former Memphis 901 man. Spent some time with Ben Pierman there. Zamudio, the 27-year-old, spent a lot of time in the DC United system, mostly out on loan. Osu dispossessed, and it was Ikaza that went down. Foul called on against New Mexico.
Ikaza's going to need an ice bath at halftime. He's been getting the treatment. It is so full throttle in the midfield there, and that was Jabang stepping up from centre mid, and a couple of lunging tackles. He's probably lucky he didn't connect with any of them.
Here's Vargas leading the charge. Finds Bailey, back to Akale. Akale now to Lindsay. Lindsay cross goes in. It's headed away by Malloy. Battery do well to do with the offensive pressure there from New Mexico. The official plays on. He acknowledges, wouldn't be surprised if Jabang gets a talking to after that. It's a late challenge that came in from behind against Myers.
That was his third one as well. There was the two that he didn't connect with. He made sure he connected on that one.
Vargas dispossessed momentarily. Gets it back. Here's Akale now. Down goes Thomas Among. I think Among, he might be lucky he didn't see a card for simulation there. He was anticipating the contact. He went down very easily. And eventually, after all of that, It'll be a throw-in for Charleston, and there it is. It comes back in the form of a yellow card to Ousmane Jabang here, 38 minutes in. And so here within the last 8 minutes, we've seen 3 yellow cards shown.
The referee, you could tell early on, he tried to give the benefit of the doubt, tried to manage it, but it's just got a little too much. And, like I say, Jabang had his mind made up that he was going to try and get stuck in on someone. He'd missed 2 tackles, and that other one, because of where it was on the field and it was on the sod, the baseball diamond there, he's lucky that it didn't cause more damage than he did. I think it was on Kelly in the build-up. And yeah, great refereeing there, just let the play build out. It was a good, minute and a half, maybe even 2 minutes, and came back, giving the yellow card for it. Maybe the crowd inside the stadium don't understand what that was for, but really good refereeing there.
Fernando, he's got space now, cuts it back. Here's Vargas. Akale. He's got Dos Santos in front of him, and Kelly with a squeeze around. Vargas now. One touch too many there from Vargas.
Fernando had his eyes on that as well. Vargas took it off his toes. You saw the knowing look he just gave Vargas of, that was my ball.
It's a throw in here for Charleston. It's the Canadian Nathan Dos Santos. Spent the first 2 seasons of his career with Pittsburgh. Since then, he's come over to Charleston. 2 goals last season for the Battery. Is Ikaza leading this break. Still Ikaza. Eventually cuts it back, and Myers sends that one over the bar. And it's a corner kick coming up here for Pittsburgh. I think this is our first corner of the night.
I think that was Talon Maples with an absolute goal-saving tackle at the death there. I think that's who it was. It's kind of far away from us. But Ikaza drives the end line, just pulls it back, just waiting for the net to ripple. And yes, it was. Maples just stretches out the left foot and puts it over the bar, helping out Tambakis and his team there.
So it's Aaron Malloy to send this ball in. First corner kick comes 40 minutes in. Corner kick's brought to you by Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. Headed away by New Mexico. Falls out to Torres, who has a shot, and it drags wide, but they're going to say it was deflected. Another corner coming up.
That could have gone anywhere as well. It went through a lot of bodies, and a couple of New Mexico United players had a dangled the leg at it, basically, and could have deflected it anywhere.
Malloy, 1 assist on the season. It's headed away by Maples. Still bouncing, eventually cleared out by New Mexico. Akale just kind of gives the ball away there.
Right after making Malloy just fall over. The way he shifts his body so quickly, Malloy thought he was going to be in a tackle, and he wasn't, but all his body weight was going forward, so he ended up just face planting. and Akale unfortunately couldn't finish it off by connecting a pass afterwards. But it's interesting, New Mexico United had a lot of territory, had a bunch of the ball in and around the Charleston penalty area without really testing a goalkeeper out here. That one counter-attack there is kind of, you can feel it, it's kind of flipped the momentum a little bit. All of a sudden Charleston Battery got a little bit of territory now, and New Mexico United just like, oh yeah, we actually have to defend these guys, because Ikaza breaking in behind, no one was catching him.
Here's Dos Santos. He's got plenty of space, but the offside flag is up. Thought he was on there. Kelly having a little bit of fun with that after the whistle.
Well after the whistle. He's actually probably lucky he didn't get a yellow card there. Let's get to that witching hour with the altitude right before half-time, maybe getting his team an extra 20 seconds rest there by messing around with the ball.
Well, and I think another thing to keep an eye on as well is obviously the kickoff was delayed by an hour. It is approaching 11 p.m. back in Charleston, back in South Carolina. And so, these players, they're probably tired. They're probably going to bed around this time. There's still a whole half of football left to play.
I'm tired and I live here.
It's the USL Championship After Dark here on ESPN Plus. Thanks for hanging out with us, Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst here at the lab in Albuquerque. This one comes all the way back to Alex Tambakis, and that's going to give us time to let you know that the USL on ESPN2 you can watch on July 18th as Eastern Conference rivals battle it out on the field. Detroit City FC take on Pittsburgh Riverhounds in a fight to grab points and move up the standings. That's Friday, July 18th, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Lindsay lays this off for Zalalem. Fernando now. Fernando able to get across in. Foul called against Thomas Among as Apononu went to ground. Take another look here. Looked a bit unlucky there for Thomas Among, as from our vantage point, it looked like he went to stick his leg out to grab the ball, to hit the ball.
He did. He stuck his leg out, but I would say, earlier on when you said about simulation, I'd say it was exactly the same as what had happened earlier on as well. It was unfortunate. It was, not every bit of contact is a foul and not every bit of non-contact is simulation. It's one of those where that's why the job's so hard working out which is which. I think there, because of where it is in the box, that's why it was maybe given. If the other one against Among was given, it would be really soft, but there was at least contact, or at least enough where it put off the run of Among as well. That's why he didn't get a yellow card for simulation. So I think there were two very similar tackles, in inverted commas.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Third corner kick of the first half coming up here for Charleston. Malloy sends this ball in near post, headed away by Zico Bailey. Goes back to Segbers. Torres now, and Torres has it poked away by Thomas Among. And down goes Among, and it's a foul on Hosu. He's got to be careful. And immediately, look at all the New Mexico players.
Wow. Hosu knew exactly what he was doing there as well, and New Mexico United players have got to be really careful that they don't overstep the mark here as well, but anyone else, I would say that's a yellow card. Stopping a promising attack.
And really, there's really no attempt on the ball.
He's a very, very, very lucky boy.
Dennis Sanchez has been shown yellow. Visibly upset.
He's saying exactly what we're saying. He's saying, how is that not a yellow card? That's what he's saying right there. And and it shouldn't be this way, but again, you don't want a game spoiled by a red card or anything like that. But also had the tackle against Akale. That wasn't a yellow card. He had his yellow card. This is now 3. He is a very, very lucky boy to still be on the field.
And so, through all of that, we've now entered into New Mexico Pinon Coffee stoppage time. 3 minutes added on here at the end of the first half. Zico Bailey sends this ball in. Zamudio comes out to claim it. New Mexico Pinon Coffee, the taste of enchantment. Scoreless so far. 46.5 minutes gone by.
It's probably a good thing that happened for Hosu, though, because then his teammates, his coaching staff can get a hold of him at halftime and tell him that he has to calm down, because he's been flying around and flying into tackles since the opening whistle, clearly trying to make a point after playing here last year, and he's not going to see out the entire game if he continues on the way he is.
Fernando. And Vargas has it poked off his feet. Eventually cleared away. Charleston players upset. The official stopped play. They felt like they were good to keep going. Kaza now lays it off for Torres. Torres cross goes in. It's cleared out. Akale now looking to break for New Mexico. He's got Hosu, who's defending. Goes all the way back to Zamudio. Segbers. That's the end of the first half, and despite the 0-0 scoreline, Chris, this one had plenty of action. Give us your thoughts on that first 45.
Action-packed without a whole lot happening. it's been the weirdest half, right? With not that much goal action. I think there was only one shot on target the entire first half, and that was Charleston Battery, the clearance by Tyler Maples. But so much has gone on. Potential red cards, lots of yellow cards, thunderous challenges, and a derby-like feel.
Well, Dennis Sanchez heads to the locker room, heading to the drawing board with a yellow card in hand. We'll step aside. It's halftime.
Hey, on the mountain we've got a saying. Get off your... Show off. Mountain Dew.
It's time to kick off a new kind of partnership. Meet Carmela from Bernalillo County Animal Care, who's ready to join the game. Your support helps give these amazing animals a chance to play, grow, and to find a loving home, just like Frank did. Visit your local shelter and discover the joy of adopting a new teammate. Together, we can make every day a winning game.
Every New Mexican deserves to age with dignity and independence. So New Mexico Aging Services provides connection, resources, and advocacy for aging adults, adults with disabilities, and caregivers across the state. From preventing mistreatment and advocating for rights, to guiding Medicare decisions, to connecting you with meals, transportation, and community, New Mexico Aging Services is by your side. Learn more at aging.nm.gov.
Change the narrative. Things like this could help. Oh, that's a marvelous finish. The awareness to just knock this ball down and settle it for no Buson.
Welcome back to the lab. It is scoreless between New Mexico United and Charleston Battery. Tyler Ortega here alongside Chris Hurst. Halftime is upon us. Let's get into our halftime programming here. Let's start off with a look at our scores around the country. So much action going on already. We've got a bunch of games that were played early.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water unique? It's our commitment to making our bottles from at least 50% recycled plastic. In fact, Crystal Geyser is the only beverage company in the U.S. to exclusively own and operate 2 plastic recycling facilities. And you can help us make an impact too by always remembering to recycle your bottles. Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Simple, but not easy.
Box, keeper's out, he scores!
Week 19 of USL Championship play is upon us, and USL All Access welcomes Monterey Bay head coach Jordan Stewart to the show. He discusses how he rebuilt the entire roster in one off-season. What does the legend Didier Drogba have to say about it? Loudoun United's golden child, Abdulatif Abukora, talks, should he be considered the Young Player of the Year? And do we think that he will finish as the Golden Ball winner? CBS Sports Network previews and more.
Back here at the lab, Tyler Ortega alongside Chris Hurst. It is scoreless between New Mexico United and Charleston Battery, your halftime score presented by First Financial Credit Union. And, well, Chris, why don't we take a look at how we got here with a look at our first half highlights. These are brought to you by Will Ferguson and Associates. And we'll start things off 3 minutes in. The game was young, and Zico Bailey let this one fly and was off the mark by maybe a foot or two.
In the land of enchantment, every move counts. That's why you need New Mexico Orthopedics to get you back doing the things you love. The official orthopedic surgeons of New Mexico United. Somos Unidos.
Me and my girls are anything but basic. And with the First Financial's high five checking rewards rate, we basically love living our life to the fullest. We used to wear pink on Wednesdays, but now orange is the new pink, and we wear it from head to toe every day. Ew, you have a basic bank? I got this. Nothing about me is basic, not even my credit union.
First Financial Credit Union, not a basic bank.
Dirty Heads, live in concert. Friday, July 18th, 8 p.m., Sandia Resort and Casino Amphitheater. On sale at Sandia Box Office and SandiaCasino.com. Don't miss Dirty Heads Live. Rescue me.
Back here at the lab, Tyler Ortega alongside Chris Hurst. We are moments away from our second half getting started here between New Mexico United and Charleston Battery. 0-0 our score here at the break, but as we mentioned, it doesn't mean we've been short of action. And speaking of action, fans, the what does Charleston have to do to walk out of here with all 3 points tonight?
I mean, yeah, that's the million-dollar question there. I mean, you could see the space in those wide areas. You know, Torres and Uzikaza actually drifting out wide really created the best chance of the entire first half there. And New Mexico United are playing, like, even though they're not necessarily, they're picking their moments to press, but they are playing with a pretty high line, so there is space to play into in behind them. If they can find and have the runners willing to do that from deep. But honestly, the biggest talk probably at halftime by Charleston staff is probably about keeping their heads. Again, Hernan Hosu just, it was on a mission. He was on a mission in that first half, for good or for bad, and maybe a little fortunate by the end of it that Charleston have come out and they've still got 10 field players on the pitch.
Charleston, speaking of their 10 field players on the pitch, they're out there on the pitch. Nobody out from the dressing room for New Mexico just yet. So now they start to make their way out of the tunnel. So for New Mexico, Chris, I'm going to ask you the same question. They've got 4 shots, none on target. XG sits at just 0.2 after that first 45. How can they change things up to get the offense going?
I mean, it's interesting that New Mexico United, it's either pulling the ball back to the top of the 18-yard box and looking for shots from about 18 to 24 yards out. And can they get one of those right? Ezekiel Bailey came really close. Amang had a chance, and it didn't really sit down for him. I would love to see New Mexico United get to the end line and pull it back. They're not the tallest team, especially against the centre-backs of Charleston. They're not necessarily going to win a lot of those aerial duels. However, they're still, they get the ball in those wide channels at the corner of the 18-yard box, and they look to play balls to the back post and get knockdowns, which it can work, that second phase, but I would love to see them get beyond. There was one chance where Lindsay got played in behind, and the downside of having a right-footed left-back cut back to try and get onto his right foot, and that took all the momentum away from the attack. So driving that end line, taking the goalkeeper out of the game, putting the ball in that corridor of uncertainty, I would love to see New Mexico United do that a little bit more in the second half.
Like Fernando just receiving some quick attention from the head athletic trainer. Just for kick. There you see him. Fernando, he found himself in space a few times down in the final third, Chris.
His pace, and he just runs off the shoulder of the outside back, and he's really hard to handle because he plays in that like blind spot when the ball's on the weak side, on the opposite side of the field to him, and he plays in that blind spot just in behind him. He's so fast once he gets going as well, and tricky and confident. He's a guy full of confidence right now.
So second half underway. Thanks for joining us here at the lab. Kickoff delayed an hour to 8 p.m. local time. Thanks for sticking through it with us, especially those of you back on the East Coast, burning the midnight oil almost. 11:15 back in Charleston. Here's Jabang. Jabang was booked late in that first half. One of four yellow cards that was shown, actually. Dennis Sanchez also going into the officials' book as Tambakis has to come out of his area. Maples able to save that eventually. Tambakis on his 134th league appearance for New Mexico here tonight. Is that ball judged to have gone out by the assistant referee? Stays down here on Kelly, but Jabang able to win possession. That was Makwele Akale all the way back in the 18 in a thunderous challenge. Whistled for the foul there. It was Ikaza. Get another look here on this TLC replay. Loy and then Ikaza came in. Meaty challenge there. Kaza, it's his third foul that he's committed already. Possession given away here by New Mexico, and a chance, and it's saved by Alex Tambakis. The one-handed diving save keeps New Mexico here on level terms. That was a chance that almost materialized basically out of nothing. It was a touch from Jabang, who just floated back to Jeremy Kelly, who had a pop.
Yeah, and it was a mistake by New Mexico United in possession as well, playing a little too close to their goal, and it's a rough part of the field down there as well, and Charleston Battery ready to pounce on it.
Corner goes in from Torres, and it takes a deflection. And it looks like it's Dos Santos who's celebrating. And Dos Santos puts Charleston ahead in his 100th career regular season appearance.
New Mexico United caught a little cold here after half-time as well, and just a little glance and header at the front post, and just got enough on it, and nothing Tambakis could do. Interesting, New Mexico United didn't have anyone on the back post. They're set up, no one on the back post, and you can see here, the ball puts so much power on it, so all he has to do, comes off Jabang's shoulder of all things. Didn't see that initially. Yeah, he said to Santos he's going to claim it. There's no way he's going to get credit for it because it wasn't going on target until it unfortunately hits Jabang's shoulder, so that's going to go down as an own goal there. Really unfortunate. But great start to the second half for Charleston Battery. Something for them to hold on to now, because Mexico United, like I say, against Pittsburgh, struggled to create chances, really struggled to unlock the door tonight as well. And really a gift of territory and an opportunity to put the ball in the box with a little slack in possession. And now a little bit of an uphill battle to get back in this game.
New Mexico looking immediately. And Vargas, his shot took a deflection, but it was good for New Mexico.
That was a good little play there. I believe that's New Mexico's first shot on target there, so a little baby steps, but Vargas didn't really catch it cleanly there, but like you say, a little deflection on the way through, took a lot of the pace off the shot.
And Backus has to come out of his goal, poke that ball away. Bailey finds Vargas. Vargas once again. Vargas had 4 battery players closing in around him.
Yeah, it certainly looks like Vargas is in the mood to try and drag New Mexico back into this game here. He's just, every chance he gets, it's on the half turn. He's driving at centre backs, which is terrifying as a defender. Again, another shot that he didn't quite catch it cleanly, but this time a chance for New Mexico United to put the ball in the box and maybe give Charleston a taste of their own medicine.
First corner kick this evening for New Mexico. Miquele Akale sends this ball in, and it's headed out by Charleston. Corner kicks brought to you by Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. Hello, crisp, refreshing taste. Hello, Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. Vargas sends this one long. Jabang was just looking to connect with Fernando. Falls back to Jabang. Lindsay handed away by Hosu. Maples sends this all the way back to Alex Tambakis.
That was great defending there by Maples. One-on-one, so had to be really careful.
Vargas able to settle this one. Here's Vargas. Vargas cuts it back. Still Vargas. And the shot attempt blocked. Marlon Vargas has come to life here over the last couple of minutes. Fernando now, as his cross is blocked and cleared away.
It's interesting. Someone managed to fall down and not put their hand on the ball. I'm saying nothing.
Here's Zico Bailey. Philippines international. Maples now. Fernando was looking for Lindsay. He went down, and the official not interested in that. Will be a corner kick. Looks like for New Mexico. Or excuse me, a throw-in.
It's been a great reaction to the goal by New Mexico United, though, asking a lot of questions. Movement's been really good, crisp. Fernando really involved. Vargas has absolutely come to life. But just now, again, in these moments when on top, can New Mexico find those chances and create those clear-cut chances to really, really test the keeper of Charleston Battery?
So Usman Jabang officially credited with the own goal in the 49th minute. It's a good eye from you there, Chris. This one goes back from Smith, and Zamudio sends it away. New Mexico this season, well, they haven't fared well, and they've conceded the opening goal. Done it 4 times this season, and they failed to win all 4 of those. You got to go back to last season's playoffs, Chris, when we were here at the lab, when New Mexico gave up the opener to Phoenix Rising, and then were able to come back and beat them. Jabang called for a foul off the ball. He's got to be careful. He's also on a yellow already from the first half. There's Aaron Malloy.
I'm sure he's just asking what he's going to have for dinner after the game. Nothing to do with yellow cards.
Play on. Was somewhat lazy there from Malloy. That saw Zico Bailey get a touch on it. Now Zico Bailey whistled for the foul on Nanan Hosu, and he's upset. And that's an unusual reaction from Zico Bailey. He is normally one of the most quietest people you will see, not very reactionary. And again, a foul committed. This time it was Seymour. And Seymour had a nibble there at Kelly.
A couple of things here. I mean, I think in the last 2-3 minutes of play, I think we've had about 10 seconds of actual gameplay. It's really, really scrappy right now. And fair play to the referee. He must have the best mental note, because there he said to Seymour, that was 2, no more, and it's yellow. He must have a mental log, because there have been so many fouls in this game. How he's keeping track of who's on their last warning and who isn't, it was impressive.
The ball hit long, and offside flag goes up. Vargas was looking to connect with Makwele Akale. Overhits that ball. 58 minutes gone by here at the lab. Looks like we might have a couple of subs coming in here for Charleston in just a moment. Zamudio sends this ball long. Go out for a throw in, and that's going to give us time to tell you that Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big league, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Fernando, he's been quiet in the second half. Somehow still in possession, the Brazilian. Starting to draw some oohs and ahs from the crowd. Over 10,000 expected here tonight at the lab. Despite the rainstorm, it looks like the vast majority of them stuck it out. 1 hour kickoff delay. But aside from a little bit of smoke in the air, it is overall a pleasant evening here in Albuquerque. Temperatures have cooled off from the triple digits that we had here earlier today. Hearing 3 subs coming in here for Charleston. So leaving the field, it'll be Jeremy Kelly, M.D. Myers, and Mark Segbers. They'll be replaced by Arturo Rodriguez, Rubio Rubin, and Cal Jennings. Rubio Rubin is seen his first action here in a few weeks. He spent the last few weeks with the Guatemalan national team playing in the Gold Cup, Chris. So he'll be excited to get back after it. And, of course, Cal Jennings, this ball was searching and was immediately grabbed by Alex Tambakis as it was Rubin looking to get involved early.
Looks like Hosu's moved to right back for Battery as well in the shuffle there. Yukaza's just moved a little deeper.
Jabang gets it back from Akale. Sends this one looking for Seymour, but instead it goes back to Zamudio. Nice little flick there from Bailey. And it's a penalty awarded to New Mexico. Marlon Vargas went down off the turn. And New Mexico with an opportunity to tie things up here just after the hour mark.
Yeah, we've mentioned Vargas has been the spark since the Battery goal went in there, and again finds the ball in just quick feet and just to draw the foul just inside the box. Looks like he's picked the ball up. He wants to take it himself. I know Maples has been on PK duty, and I don't know. There's a general rule in the soccer world where if you're the person who is fouled, you don't tend to take the PK. But Vargas picked it up with authority there.
Well, this is interesting because Talon Maples has been the man from the spot for New Mexico for just over a year now, and it looks like that will be the case as Vargas now hands it off to the captain. Talon Maples has converted 4 times from the penalty spot this season. He'll look to make it 5. Maples gets the keeper going the wrong way, and the captain, Talon Maples, has tied things up.
Yeah, you got to say New Mexico United, full value for getting back into the game here. Been asking all the questions since Charleston Battery went ahead, and it's been that man, Marlon Vargas, who's pulled the team up the field and really tried to create things along with Fernando. And it's Talon Maples, pulls rank, absolutely cool as a cucumber, slots it in the bottom corner.
There's a look at this TLC replay. Zamudio went right. Talon Maples went the opposite way. And New Mexico level things up. And for Talon Maples, that is his 5th goal in all competitions, all 5 from the penalty spots. And now we see a couple of substitutions here for New Mexico. Sergio Rivas and Chris Gloucester are on to replace Will Seymour and Marlon Vargas. I'm sure Vargas upset having just won the penalty. For what it's worth, we were told about these subs 10 seconds before Vargas drew that penalty kick, so they were already in the works. But as a player, I'm sure you've got to be a little bit frustrated when that happens.
Sure, but I think maybe with the coaching staff, maybe it's a little bit of what happened right before halftime with Vargas flying into tackles on a yellow card. Maybe it's a little bit of that as well, and you need to understand that. But he really has been a spark for New Mexico leading up to the goal there. But what a great replacement, and great to see Sergio Rivas back to full fitness as well.
Sergio Rivas, the local Albuquerque product, graduated from Cibola High School over on the west side.
Also with the other change with Seymour going off and Lindsay back on his more natural. What a run that is by Lindsay as well, by the way.
Here's New Mexico looking for a second. Here's Fernando. Plays it across. It's the substitute. Gloucester has a shot, and Zamudio comes up with the save.
Yeah, but as I was just about to say, so Lindsay back on his more favoured and more natural right-hand side there, and just as he just stepped into the space and just put the afterburners on, and Battery just couldn't live with him. And having a left-sided, a left-footed left-back as well, and you just saw that with Gloucester there able to take the shot. It's almost like he wanted to take it first time, But I think it was maybe Zico Bailey got in his way a little bit. But still, the confidence, first touch, or second touch, basically, to take the shot on as well. And I think that'll give New Mexico United just a little bit more balance.
Speaking of balance, 1-1 our score. That goal from Talon Maples is brought to you by New Mexico Orthopedics, getting you back to you. Dos Santos played the cross in, and that was a diving Cal Jennings.
I think he was given a little nudge. I think there was a question, and he's having a little look at the referee there. I think Talon Maples just had a little nibble, and because his weight was so far forward, it maybe looked a little more extravagant, is that the right word, than maybe what it actually was. But there was certainly a little nudge in there. But let's not forget, Charleston Battery just brought a lot of firepower onto the pitch. You know, someone who's just come back from the Gold Cup representing their country, in Ruben, and Rodriguez off the left with his fresh legs. And maybe that's why the switch as well, putting Lindsay's pace up against Rodriguez. But Jennings, the top scorer for Battery, being able to come off the bench. That's a massive amount of firepower coming off the bench for Battery.
Thomas Among now called for the foul. Just receiving a bit of a talking to there from our official, Abdul Ndaye.
I wonder how long it'll be before New Mexico United staff decide to, I don't know if risk is the right word, but you know, like how fit is Greg Hurst? Is he ready to play 20 minutes? Is it about...
Is this one flicked on? And Charleston take the lead, seemingly out of nowhere. Back from representing his country, it's Rubio Ruben who puts Charleston ahead.
Yeah, like you say, out of absolutely nothing, just a ball in there. New Mexico United just caught completely asleep, and Tambakis comes off his line to try and deal with a cross to the back post there, and Ruben heads it into almost an empty net, but there was still a lot to do, and you know, just showed his quality there.
More work to be done now for New Mexico, as they had just pulled themselves back on level terms 5 minutes ago. So we'll take another look here off this TLC replay. It was just flicked on by Jennings and then met by Ruben. For Rubio Ruben, that's his first goal of the season. And a big one at that.
Yeah, and you can see Talon Maples like asking the question of the assistant referee there in terms of offside, but we don't have a really good angle, but it looks like he runs from behind Talon Maples, and it's just when he turns around he looks offside, you know, and that's more of a question trying to con the referee, I would say, more than anything, into can you bully them into putting their flag up. But I think they were caught.
An opportunity here for New Mexico. It's Makwele Akale standing over this free kick. Dangerous area for a set piece. You know, Makwele Akale, the set piece specialist for New Mexico. 5 assists already on the season for Akale. That does lead the club. Looking back post, and no problem there for Zamudio.
Ikaza on the ground again. We mentioned him in the first half, how much he's being given a bit of treatment. But again, it's a ball just kind of slinged into the box. And New Mexico United, not the tallest team in the world. But right before that goal went in, asking the question about how long we think it'll be before we see Greg Hurst, I think probably that goal by Battery probably forced the hand a little bit. And Amang's gone pretty quiet here, I'd say, in the second half.
Here's Torres. Finds Ruben. Ruben lays it back. Malloy has a go, and that one goes past a diving Alex Tambakis and out for a goal kick. Gloucester. The substitute Chris Gloucester his 42nd league appearance for the club here tonight. Gloucester came on as a late sub in Pittsburgh last week. We talk a lot about the goal scoring of Cal Jennings as Fernando able to retain possession, gets it back from Rivas here.
I mean, wow. That's why you come to soccer games, is to be entertained. And Fernando, that's entertainment right there. I was just thinking, if I'm New Mexico United, I'm getting him isolated against Hosu as much as possible. Hosu, like a raging bull in the first half, just run around kicking people. Get Fernando with the ball on his feet and get him isolated against Hosu and see if he can get him there. And he just absolutely did him up there with an outrageous move.
Here's Zelalem, goes back to Jabang. Well, what I was going to say before Fernando started putting on a show, talk about the goal scoring of Cal Jennings. Just picked up his 3rd assist this season as well. 14 goal contributions for Cal Jennings in 17 appearances. So we're going to see another change here for Charleston. Chris Allen will come in to replace Ikaza. Chris Allen, the 26-year-old Englishman, spending his 3rd season with Charleston. Prior to that, spent 1 season with Ben Pierman, actually, when he was with Memphis in 2022. Bit of a scrum down here in front of us. It's Hosu who's laying on the ground, and Hosu asking for some attention, and this is going to delay things a little bit. The official just making it known that he's keeping track of the time, and Torres is asking, he was telling the physio, telling him to get off the field and asking why is he coming on.
I think Hosu has to step off the field now because they called the trainer on, but you can see what Hosu was trying to do. He was trying to, shield the ball, then fall over to try and win a free kick deep down in New Mexico territory, but fair play to the assistant referee. He knew exactly what he was up to and didn't fall for it. I thought the assistant referee had flagged for a free kick against Hosu. Apparently it was a throw-in.
Gloucester will get us restarted here. Great job by Amon to win the ball back. Bailey now turns on the Jets. Bailey shoved to the ground, but has his pass picked off by Ruben. Charleston now looking to break, and that shot deflected. It's out for a corner kick.
It's hard for the officials there because as the ball's played, they obviously track the ball, and it was after the ball was played that Seiko Bailey was shoved to the. You can see you don't need to be a master lip reader there. Sanchez is saying it was a foul.
Ruben once again with the shot attempt, and now we're going to see some more substitutions coming up here for New Mexico. We'll see if those happen now or after this corner kick. Take the corner first. High arching ball, and that one not near anyone, and that's going to give us time now for these substitutions. And so 3 of them coming in for New Mexico now. You'll see Thomas Pondeca, Mackenzie Gaines, and it is the return of every New Mexican's favorite Scotsman. It's Greg Hurst. Quite the shift put in by Thomas Among, going 75 minutes here tonight. And for Greg Hurst, this is his first time seeing action since April.
Pace of gains against some very tired legs from Battery will be really interesting if New Mexico United could find the space. There he goes.
There's McKenzie Gaines. Cross goes in and eventually finds the feet of Fernando. Looked like Fernando tried a little elastico there. Osu wasn't falling for it.
I still love how Osu is begging for yellow cards after every single foul as well. This is comedy gold. But yeah, that's 1-1. The battle of Fernando versus Osu. The first one, Fernando absolutely did Osu up all ends up, and Osu learnt his lesson and really did well 1v1 defending there. He knew the move was coming and just got his body in the way, separated Fernando from the ball and drew the foul.
Come the Battery. Ruben, the goal scorer. Fresh off some success with Guatemala in the Gold Cup. Ruben, he was somebody who actually had some experience playing for the U.S. men's national team. Actually made his debut for the senior team under Jurgen Klinsmann as an 18-year-old. Switched his allegiances to Guatemala and has been racking up the appearances there since. 35 caps for his country, 13 goals for the 29-year-old. What a way to welcome himself back to his club here tonight. Scored just minutes after coming on as Zamudio is closed down by Greg Hurst. April 12th, that was the last time Greg Hurst set foot on the pitch in a match for New Mexico United, which coincidentally 3 months to the date. Work to do here for New Mexico. They're going to look to salvage a point from this one tonight. And we knew coming into this one, Chris, this was going to be a battle.
I mean, this was a tough stretch, but away at Riverhounds and then home against Battery. Whenever you have these cross-conference games against East Coast opposition, it's going to be a tough stretch, and to have them back-to-back, that travel is difficult for sure. But same with Battery coming into town, and it's not an easy journey, Charleston to here, and plus with the rain delay, dealt with it really, really well, and really damage has been done second half. They've been clinical. It's not like they've had a ton of chances. New Mexico United probably still think they've had more of the chances, but they've been very, very clinical with the ones that they have created.
Rodriguez does well on the far side to win the corner. Malloy cuts it in. Malloy goes for goal and sends it over the head of Alex Tambakis. Time winding down here for New Mexico. Coming up on the final 10 minutes of this one. It's a heavyweight battle between New Mexico United and Charleston Battery. It's the black and yellow derby. So far, Charleston look like they might be heading for a third consecutive win in as many years. Rivas. Gloucester called for the foul. Gloucester making his 11th appearance of the season tonight. 7 of those have been starts.
New Mexico United are to fall tonight to another loss, the second loss in a week, basically, and first time they've done that since May. El Paso 3-0. Basically got battered down in El Paso 3-0, and then the 2-1 reverse here. The only home loss, right, against Phoenix Rising. And Phoenix Rising being a little bit of a bogey team for New Mexico United this year. Beat them a week later, I believe it was, on PKs as well, right?
When out in the Valley in Jägermeister Cup play. This ball hit long and headed away by Hosu. Here's Torres. He turns battery. Looking to add an insurance goal here as Maples to cut that off momentarily. And Tambakis, you saw him. He was worried about that one.
Yeah, he was worried, and there was nothing he could do about it either. That's a horrible feeling. He was just looking and hoping to see it go past the post, the right side of the post, for New Mexico United's case. Can't see who it comes off. Is it maybe Jabang? I think maybe six. Yeah, it would have been another deflection. How unlucky would that have been if that had gone in the back of the net? But you could see how Tambakis was just rooted to the spot.
Malloy sends this ball in, went back post and over the head of everybody. Fan soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Well, this is the only home match in July for New Mexico. What a touch there from Fernando. He looks to get down to the end line. Plays it into Rivas. Here's Rivas. His shot was blocked.
See how hard Battery are working defensively. Every single opportunity is contested, throwing their bodies in the way, blocking shots, working so hard to try and grind out this result.
Tambakis able to get a hand on that.
But if you keep in score, that's now 2-1 Fernando against Hosu. What a first touch that was.
Fernando brings a wealth of experience, making his 212th USL Championship appearance here tonight. Ball flicked on by Hurst. Only as far as Dos Santos. Sends all the way back to... Well, fans, if you can't watch the match, turn on SiriusXM FC 157. That's North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus, you can hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on SiriusXM FC 157 and the new SiriusXM app. Here's Hosu. Gets it into Allen. Colombian Torres. Mackenzie Gaines. Gaines just unable to link up there with Thomas Pondeka. Back side of his area to clear that ball away, and starting to get late here for New Mexico. Gaines able to get a touch there. Here's Hurst. Flicks it on. Here's Gaines, the speedster. Gaines, his cross headed away. Well, we knew it was going to be a big crowd here tonight, but we didn't anticipate it'd be this big. 11,072 on hand here tonight at the Lab for this showdown between Charleston Battery and New Mexico United, and they've been treated to wins the battle that time. Attendance brought to you by New Mexico Mutual. 87th minute. We've seen New Mexico pull off some stoppage time magic on this field, on this goal, Chris, just about 3 weeks ago against San Antonio. Can they do it again? Charleston coming off that 1-0 win most recently against North Carolina. That was last Sunday, so they're playing on shorter rest than New Mexico United are tonight, with New Mexico having played last Friday. New Mexico, however, had to make the trip out to Pittsburgh for that one, while Charleston were at home. Here's Rivas. Pondeka. It's a miscommunication there between he and Greg Hurst. And Greg Hurst has now been shown yellow. I think they were wanting a yellow on Nanan Hosu for going down so easily.
I think that the yellow card was for how aggressively he ran after the referee there, and basically tried. He didn't get in his face, but he was clearly letting his feelings be known.
Final substitution here for Charleston Battery. Leland Archer, he's on to replace Juan David Torres. Torres makes his way off with a smile as he's had himself quite the night. So Archer back for Charleston as he makes his 10th appearance of the season. Leland Archer, it's in his 8th season with Charleston Battery. He is the longest tenured player on the team. Down goes Fernando. It was Archer getting involved.
Yeah, you can see how strong Archer is straight away. And Charleston Battery have basically gone to a back five here for the last few minutes. Last minute plus whatever's added on for injury time. There should be at least, I'm guessing, about 5 minutes.
Here, and there's going to be 6 minutes added on here. So still a chance. In Mexico, they've earned the moniker the Kings of Chaos for their late game antics. And here we go. Greg Hurst has a shot, and it's saved by Zamudio. 6 minutes of second half stoppage time. Brought to you by New Mexico Pinon Coffee, the taste of enchantment. So we'll get another look at that one. An opportunity materialized quickly for the Scotsman, Chris.
Yeah, you can just see his first touch, doesn't quite get it right. Tries to bring it down with his right thigh, ends up hitting his left thigh, so has to take the shot with his weaker left foot there, but still makes the keeper work. And you see, that's what Greg Hurst gives you, just running off the shoulders, that pace in behind. A bit dangerous, but that's the first sight of it, and maybe just a little bit of rust working off there.
No hurry here from Zamudio. Already 1 minute of the 6 added on is done. Rivas gets a touch to it. Fernando, he's going to get a talking to after that as well. Hosu was asking the ball manager for a ball, and Fernando threw the ball from behind him.
It's like pantomime season back in England. The pantomime villain. It's normally Christmas time.
We're playing once again. Second half stoppage ticking away. Here's Rivas. His ball cut out by Dos Santos. Rivas gets it back. Here's Pondeka now. Pondeka into Hurst, and that ball just tapped away. Finds Rubio Rubin. Just sent away there by Malloy. Only as far as Maples. New Mexico searching for an equalizer. Hurst. Cross goes in and was looking for the back post run, and Jalen Lindsay not able to get there in time.
It just seems like for New Mexico United, they're continually asking questions, but Charleston Battery, they've had the answers to pretty much everything, other than the little bit of trickery from Vargas and flashes here and there from Fernando as well. They've had the answer, and when they have maybe let New Mexico United have a little glance at goal, they've been willing to throw their bodies and throw blocks in and defended as a unit and individually, and just really, really well.
Maples looking for gains. Got a head to it, but it's going to go out. Throw in now for the home side. And Pierman still directing traffic there from his area. Here's Maples. Deca just couldn't handle that. Deca, the loanee from FC Dallas. Zalalem. Maples has now pushed upfield. Jabang. Almost losing possession there. Gaines able to reclaim it. Just over a minute left of the 6 allotted. This ball goes into the box, bouncing around and eventually cleared away. Rivas gets a touch to it. Ball goes in. Fernando! And Fernando just sends it over the bar. The Brazilian inches away from an equalizer.
I think it actually hits the crossbar on the way through. That's how close it was there, and that was the first time Battery just switched off a little bit at the back, and after the chance happens, the Inquisition continues, and defenders pointing at each other. Whose man was it? He just drifted in between Hosu and I believe it was Archer. And yeah, if you see this, I think once he hits it, it just clips the crossbar. Can't see on that angle, but yeah, like I say, from this angle, from the angle that we're at, it looked like it hit the crossbar. Unbelievably unlucky there.
Yeah, there's another look, and it does indeed go off the crossbar as the Brazilian was looking for his 5th goal of the campaign. Time dwindling down every second precious here for New Mexico. We're over 6 minutes. This ball poked forward, and Jennings able to just run it down. He's got a free run at Tambakis. Jennings now, and Jabang gets the tackle right. Maybe time for one last attack here for New Mexico. Can they steal a point? And no, the whistle is blown, and full time here at the Lab. Charleston Battery have just pulled off their 3rd consecutive win over New Mexico. Your play of the match is Talon Maples for his 63rd minute penalty kick. Talon Maples also voted your man of the match, presented by Pepsi. And Alex Tambakis is your Valley Fence defensive player of the match. There's a crowd over by the official on the field right now, Chris. And this one, action from start to finish. Would be love to get your thoughts here before we go to break.
Yeah, I mean, there was something said, and there's still pushing and shoving between the two benches. You can kind of see players starting to pile in there. It's been like this from the first whistle, and now we're in the 98th minute, basically, and you can still see it's still going on. There is no love lost between these two teams. The referee's going to have some sorting out to do after full time.
We'll go ahead and step aside. We'll be back to put a bow on things. Don't
Game on at New Mexico's ultimate game day destination, Sandia Sportsbook. With live wagering 7 days a week, Albuquerque's best sportsbook is ready for action. Bet at Sandia Sportsbook or at kiosk locations on the casino floor. Sandia Sportsbook offers amazing food and drink specials with spectacular views. Sports betting has come to Sandia. Sandia Sportsbook. Game on.
Well, full time here at the Lab, and some extracurriculars still taking place. Is your final score: New Mexico 1, Charleston Battery 2. Let's go ahead and have a look at our full-time highlights, brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. We're here for you, and we're here to win. And Chris, let's get the party